Well, let's just go ahead and take what started small and blow it up even bigger, because here we go now to UC Berkeley of people who not only don't want to room with someone of a different political belief, but someone of a different race. Sounds like a story from the 40s, but now it's in reverse. Here is a off-campus housing project at UC Berkeley where it's for people of color, and they are warned the following. Here are the house rules. Guests are allowed in common spaces, but please be mindful, if there are house members in the room beforehand, white guests are not allowed in common spaces. No white guests, CJ.
Yeah. You know, that's exact racism. You know, it's exactly the type of stuff that Martin Luther King Jr. worked against when he said that we should judge people by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. If you replaced that word, the word white, in that sentence that you just read with black, you would have protest, you would have condemnations, you would probably have Joe Biden himself rushing to UC Berkeley to condemn this for what it is, blatant and flagrant racism.
That was Will Cain, former ESPN analyst, and if you ever saw his sports segments from that time, you knew he was destined to be on Fox News. Seen here along with CJ Pearson, a young brother who learned how to invoke MLK's name for no reason with that one quote and one quote only. Before I continue, it's September. We usually have to remind people of what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. actually meant and said and stood for in January and February. I guess we're early, or in my case, late. Anyways, MLK did, of course, say that quote about judging the content of our character, not skin color. But he also knew how to name and identify those that were actively causing harm and passively allowing it to happen. More on this in a minute. Now, what was being reported in that opening clip is the off-campus person of color theme house, which is private housing and is not affiliated with the University of California, Berkeley, according to a report by Fox News. The house, quote, aims to provide housing to low-income, first-generation immigrant and marginalized students of color, according to its website. The Person of Color Theme House exists to create a safe and welcoming space for its house members and build solidarity with communities of color in the Berkeley area and beyond, the website adds. Many POC members moved here to be able to avoid white violence and presence, so respect their decision of avoidance if you bring white guests, explains a purported list of rules for the house. It's talking about white people. MLK Jr. talked about white people a lot, labeling them as such. The people who legislated segregation, who imprisoned, brutalized, hated, shot, and killed MLK Jr., and conveniently like him today, all of a sudden. And if someone says, well, black people hurt and murder white people, oh, so in order to escape, they go to sundown towns, gated communities, country clubs, private schools, suburbs, exurbs, safe spaces, whether it's justified or not. Will Cain and CJ Pearson have no problem with this when it comes to fraternities and sororities, or Chinatowns, Little Italies, and Mexican barrios. Someone please remind me to never use the if the roles were reversed argument, because it's rarely apples to apples. Yes, if we replace white people with black in this situation, you would have protests and condemnation because, as I just stated, due to the history of this country, there are so many places that white people can go to get away from black people if they wanted. It was designed this way. Now, did they look into why people of color feel they need to find a safe space among themselves?
Period. I'm in a white place like this because I came up here to play pool. This is the only place with a pool table in the vicinity. I know you racist. You look like a racist. But that's why you're poor. Most racist people are poor.
For Rebel HQ, I'm Jeff Wiggins. My architect knows Japanese. For more from the Young Turks, stay right here. To see additional content from yours truly, click on the Jeff Wiggins hashtag. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, We Gonna Be Alright. Thanks for watching.